It's now 10 weeks since I set off from Cape Wrath. I've arrived into Padstow, the weather's foul, water's flowing upwards out of drains, and I had to pitch my tent in waterlogged ground. My kit's beginning to fail. To be honest, I'm struggling, but I'm so close to the finish. So as you can imagine, everything apart from my sleeping bag and clothes is sodden wet. I'm trying to dry out as much as possible on my body whilst I'm walking. And I've also, like I did with the other estuary, I've cut out a bit of the Camel estuary. Just use passing roads to get back to the coast. Which I might take actually. Yeah, right call I think. Turned into a beautiful day, hasn't it? It's different scenery again, you know. At the stacks and now these gorgeous beaches. But yeah, I had a pint of water and a beer down by the beach. I've got about 2 hours before I can check in at the place I'm staying at Newquay. But I'm about 5 miles away, so that's spot on. So yes, able to enjoy a much mellower day and shorter. Like yesterday was really tough. Because I was pushing the pace to get out of the shitty weather, as well as the fact that I was shivering. The waterproof, obviously no longer waterproof in spite of reproofing it at the start of the trip. Yeah, not sure about that either. Kit failure generally. Just towards the end though at least, so that's the real positive thing about it. Oh, definitely. This is awesome. So staying here 2 nights to have a proper rest day. I'm really glad I sorted that out when I was organising this. Giving me a chance to, it's a handy laundrette across the road pretty much. And phone them up and he was able to say, yeah, I can do it with the powder and all that. 15 quid, all done. I don't have to carry a lot of stuff though, it weighs a ton. But yeah, that 2 days ago really knocked it out of me. I was really pushing the pace trying to get through that bad weather. and my legs are still feeling trashed, so I need this. Definitely need this. And I've got a really long day I'm going to try and shorten somehow coming up, so yeah, I've got time to plan stuff like that. Now this isn't a new phone by any means, but it got soaked obviously, and when I went to try and charge it yesterday, it gave me an angry buzz and says there's moisture in the charging port, unplug before you damage the phone, and suggested using a hairdryer. Honestly, the technology in these things. So the hairdryer worked, thankfully. It's got my train ticket and everything in it, although I do have a backup phone, but still. Figure I've got to try a Cornish pasty whilst I'm here. So this is the high tide route across the Gannel, which I'll need to use. I'm going to try and, I've got 2 hours, well 2 and a bit hours before high tide, so I'm going to try and use the south shore of the Gannel and get round to Crantock. I was chatting with where I was staying last night, Ashley. He reckons I can go this way, so let's try. So I was staying at Jasmine House, and for a place to stay, if I could have picked a place to stay 2 nights in the whole trip, that would have been it, because it was just like Cindy just relaxes you as soon as you arrive. I says I was going to go out and get some fancy pizza and a glass of Sauvignon Blanc. She says, we just order it in from Domino's, go order some and get yourself a bottle, because there's a little mini fridge in the room which had milk in and water chilled ready for your coffee. So that's really nice. And I had to leave early this morning, so again she gave me a yoghurt and more milk for the fridge so I could help myself to the cereals and set off. It's still like 7:45, so not quite as early as I would have liked, but I think the sleep did me good. Anyway, I've set myself up for a big day today, as I say. I was watching YouTube videos of the route last night. It looks absolutely stunning. Really nice videos. So hoping that the scenery on this day will carry me through any tiredness. Don't know if you can make out, that's the other footbridge there. So the tide's low enough, I would have been able to get over that anyway today. This has been nice enough. So that's me joined the coast path again now. There's someone walking their dogs across the bridge just now. It's been so peaceful this walk so far. Never believe you're next to a big town. Can't even hear traffic, you know what I mean? That's us coming out to the open ocean at Crantock Beach now. You know, I think that's the first time I've heard a sheep fart. That's Perrin Beach, Perrin Sands, the dunes which we walk through. Perrin Porth, the far side. A runner came past and said, no wind, hooray. Right enough. I've been walking into a headwind, pretty strong one for most of the last weeks it feels like, to be honest. So really enjoying this much more chilled weather. I'm not sure why the coast path takes a route up into the dunes. It's bloody hard work, but I'm sticking with it for now. Waste of energy, I reckon. So I probably didn't need to do the dunes back there, but this bit, when the tide's high, I think you do have to come up from where the road is down to the beach, the last bit to Portreath, otherwise you're cut off. Portreath before 11 o'clock, and seriously I haven't been pushing it, just really relaxed, because the going's been so much easier than the whole week before. Much easier walking, and the weather's been kinder too, which helps. Done a little under 12 miles already. I'm going to get to that campsite well in time before the shop shuts. Portreath was busy. It's so nice to see though, people finally getting a holiday. Nice day of weather. So I took my sandwiches and ate them up in the seats on a cliff just to the south of the village, where it's a bit more peaceful. I see beer barrels. You can tell we're near a car park. The path and quite crowded. The little snippets of conversation you hear, the wife going past saying, and once we've walked the dogs we need to go to NMS, don't we? The husband's like, mm-hmm. Cuckoo Valley craft cider. Awesome. So I've come inland from the coast to get to a campsite. It's quite nice to see inland Cornwall, because all I've seen is the coast so far. But ironically that's been the hardest part of the day's walking, is coming up towards the campsite. Good morning. Well, that was well worth £12 for that campsite, and it was nice to have a lovely evening to sit and chill and be on holiday, which is what this is, supposedly. So I'm on this tramway, this mineral tramway to Portreath, presumably for transporting tin or minerals, and nice way to get down to the coast without being on a road, I think. The weather's forecast to deteriorate today. It's already spitting, but the good thing is the strong winds aren't coming back at the moment, so that makes a hell of a difference. Like driving rain, headwind, that was quite difficult. out of curiosity, I used my watch to actually record what I was doing. I only started it after 3 and a bit miles. My watch reckons I did 22.5 yesterday, and then I looked at the details. Ascent 860 metres, pace 22 minutes per mile, which is fairly moving. And I thought I was taking it easy. I mean, honestly, I thought yesterday was one of the easiest days I've had, so God knows what I was doing on the rough up and down days before that. Probably been doing a lot further than I'd thought, and a lot more climbing, that's for sure. So back on the coast at Portreath. The sky might be grey and there's drizzle, but look how flat that sea is. What I'm finding mad is this is my penultimate full day of walking on this journey. So yeah, a bit of reflecting going on already, I think, especially last night. So this is in for the day. I will keep positive. So close. So it's been really easy walking today so far. I think it stays like that from what I've read. Getting a really sweet smell of the heather in this breeze. This little headland's called Navix Point. The area's called the Navix. And then when we swing round to the left, we're heading down towards Gwythian and Gwythian Sands. Probably a little dot about there. That's a seal.
Yeah. Get your pen out.
Indeed. Surfing lessons. Gwythian Towers. Need to keep looking out for these slates. There's one ahead. At least there's shelter in the dunes. Right, we've had Gwythian Towers, Upton Towers and Mexico Towers now. I think this is the last Towers. Thank feck. So I'm soaked through again, and everything I touch, my hands are just soaked, so they get wet. Oh, the joys. So I stupidly stopped to try and get the sand out of my shoes and socks. That wasn't happening. It's all just stuck and plastered in there. Now I've got wet and sandy hands. And there's more sand anyway. Never mind. We're making progress. So I managed to get a coffee and a slab of millionaire shortbread at the Salt Kitchen bar in Hale. Much needed. Always get a boost from that. The other good news is I've done well over 14 miles already, which surprised me, and only 5.5 to go, so on a day like today, that's really good news. Yeah, I'm kind of glad to be getting towards the end of the journey, I suppose, like the whole thing. So in order to get to St Ives along the coast path, you have to do this big loop around an estuary, which is what I was just doing. It's probably the the least interesting day on the southwest coast path, so I believe. So not a bad day to have the crap weather anyway. And I'm not complaining about all the tarmac at the moment, because I'm really about just getting out of this into my B&B as quickly as possible. So the miles are ticking by nicely. That said, on looking at the map, I see there's more towns ahead. I think I'm towned out. Wow. I don't believe this. Yeah, just to back up what I was saying, I was just there about 2 hours ago, walking through that building site. You know, in a way, it was a blessing that I couldn't see across to here and how close it was, and yet so far. So arrived at this lovely B&B, had a shower, everything I'm wearing is fresh from laundry a couple of days ago. Feel good, ready to go into town and celebrate. So, final day, leaving St Ives, and it's a foggy one, but I'm okay with that, because this next bit's supposed to be pretty wild and remote. I just read on the guide it's the most strenuous day up as far as Pendine on this coast path, and I'm doing another 5 miles on top of that. Oh well, finishing with a challenge. It started as a journey and it's finishing as a challenge. You know, it's as if I've done the full circle, because it's almost like the same weather as I set out in from Durness, and the scenery by the coast, it's not too un-Scottish, is it? I'm only about a mile and a bit from St Ives and it already feels almost like a different world. Looks like a bit of a stone circle there. I can see a lot farther for now than I could at the start. Yeah, I'm really glad I had a word with myself yesterday to take it easy. I'll slow down actually, to be fair, because I was going a bit quick. My legs feel fine, and I'm having to have a word with myself again today to keep it easy and safe, you know, with the wet rock and stuff. I don't want to be having an accident anyway, but especially at this stage, you know. So get back to the moment. It's not a mission to get anywhere, it's just about the next step. That's really corny. I feel quite at home here. It's certainly been a nice day's walking so far.
I think that's Zenner Point. Been fairly easy walking since Zenner Head, and even the bit before. I mean, the gradients weren't really anything like what they were up towards Hartland Point on the section to Bude. What I would say is, in terms of technical ground underfoot, there's quite a few rocky bits that you're stepping over, but we'll see how the rest goes. Certainly gone through my water today, so I've emptied my flask. I think I'm going to head up to Pendine from the beach and get some water, and then try and cut back down a bit further along the coast. Well, I'm hoping this does let me get into Pendine. Looks like it's mostly used by cows. So heading back down to the coast path by Gaver Mine. Really glad I did that little diversion up to Pendine. Nice friendly local, and a couple of pints of water and beer. Just over 4 miles I think to where I finish at the youth hostel camping. I think I mentioned before, but Andy's going to be meeting up again with his camper van, so it's awesome. So I basically asked everyone at the bar what the best route back down to the coast path was that avoided cows with calves, and one guy pipes up, says, "You know what, I used to have cattle, and even I wouldn't go in the field with them when they've got their calves." So whilst on the subject of cows, I know a lot of walkers are wary of cows, myself included, particularly like the walking season coincides with, you know, calving season. So my thoughts on that subject, the way I've dealt with it anyway, is as long as you're on a well-established route, like the Pennine Way for example, or the South West Coast Path, where the cows are used to lots of foot traffic, you'll be absolutely fine. It's only once you start making your own routes or using rights of way that, you know, much lesser travelled, which is where you're probably going to run into problems like I had a few. So regardless of what happens tomorrow, at least now I can tell myself
I've walked from Cape Wrath to Cape Cornwall. That's it, last night, last day. How nice to have such a lovely start to the last day's walk. Still can't totally believe I'm here. Like, I booked that youth hostel to camp there back in December, and that's it, the last bit of accommodation other than Penzance. On my way to Land's End. I deliberately picked a short day to finish so I could try and relish it. It's only about 5.5 miles, I think. And what was also awesome was Andy and Bella came down last night and we sat outside in the rain drinking glasses of wine. Gonna meet up again today, hopefully. So if you think booking accommodation for each night well in advance is a very risky approach to planning this, I'd have to agree with you. It's bonkers. That's partly why I can't believe each time I arrived at a place there was a little celebration, which was nice. But to be fair for myself, that's it gave me the discipline. I incorporated redundancy into the planning, having shorter days than I knew I was capable of, so I could make up time if needed. So I might lose the odd day or two of accommodation, but I'd make up for it. But yeah, I mean, regardless of my own little walking bubble, a lot of other stuff had to go right for this to work out, so very grateful, very grateful. There was a large South African family at the youth hostel as well, and when one lass asked me what I'd been doing and I told her, she announced it to the whole family, and then word got around, and understandably in a hostel everyone's wanting to hear about the trip and giving congratulations, which is really nice. The hostel kitchen was hilarious though. If you've ever stayed in a youth hostel before, you'll probably get what I mean. But it's like 4 families trying to share the same kitchen. It's almost like they're trying to qualify for MasterChef as well, with fantastic food and organic ingredients, etc. And I show up with my Uncle Ben's fried rice and some baby corn and some black bean sauce, processed shite. Well, it seems quite fitting I'm going to finish the journey with sand in my socks and a bramble in my rain cover. Stags for sale. I've got enough in my garden as it is. I think that's enough.